Well, it's that time again, folks. The crazy time when G&P Old Marine Shop is going to get some more outboard motors. Just what I don't need. But like drugs, it's addicting. So once I get there and get them back home, I'll show you what I'm picked up this time. Always fun. Back to the house, I'm picking up my two new motors, and here's what they are. Actually, one's not even an Evernood or a Johnson, but here we go. This one, I felt sorry for the guy, so I bought it off him. I got both of them for $35. I was mainly after the gale, so I gave him $25. 2 months ago, we started out at $100 for both. Then he went down to $50, then $25 a piece, and then I settled on $25 for this, and I told him I'll take the little Johnson for $15. Now, both motors aren't seized. I had the covers off of both of them yesterday. The first thing I'm going to do is clean up this gale because it's filthy. It's got mold and that lich and stuff all over the cover. I can't even work on it like that. So I'm going to clean it all up first. And the Johnson's got wasp nest. I did see one wasp fly out. That's all I saw when I had the cover off. So hopefully there's no more in there. This one's clean of wasps. But I haven't had a gale in a lot of years. What gale basically was they stopped, they believe they stopped making them in '63. And this is a 1960 15 horsepower. They stopped making them, and I know they used to make the magnetos for all OMC in the Galesburg plant in Galesburg, Illinois. I'm reading the OMC, the story of OMC, the book. But I'll pop the cover on this guy. You can see the mold and the lichen all over it. But the power head, it's got compression. All the controls work. Tiller, nothing's frozen on it. The gear shift's fine. The little 5.5 Johnson, I believe, is a 1954. She's not seized either. She shifts, but the steering is stuck. But again, I just more or less bought that for, it's thrown in with the deal. Actually, that motor will run too because it's not seized, except for the steering. But my main attraction here is the gale. Now, years ago, I had a 25 horse gale, and it had a knock. Now, I don't remember what I did with it. It was really clean. Same cover design as this. I think I scrapped it. I think because when I moved, I had to get rid of a lot of motors when I moved from one house to my rental house to here. So, yeah, I think I scrapped it. But anyway, this is a 15. It's basically an Evernood 15. What happened in the early 60s, they started taking the old POW heads to 15s. In 1957, Evernood came out with the 18. They dropped the 15. So the Gale division of OMC started building outboards using the 15 horsepower heads and the 10 horsepower heads, making them into 12 horsepower and some other variants. I believe up to 50 horse, the B4s. But as far as my research, 1963, they stopped making them. It's nice, no pressure tank. Got a kill button on the other side. So you don't have to worry about choking it to stall it. It was missing one of the low speed knobs, so yesterday I put on one of these later model knobs just so I can adjust it. Everything turns, all the linkage works. So I'm going to clean the points on this one. That'll be the first thing I'm going to do. And the Johnson, I'm just going to put on the back burner. And we'll see what happens from there. Gale, 15 horsepower. Another nice project to work on. She should run really quickly. I'm not anticipating a lot of labor on this motor at all. but I do not want to count my chickens before they hatch. I'm hoping the rods are good and everything it should be. And steering's not stuck. Transfer brackets are stuck. The clamps are stuck. And believe it or not, on the little 5 horse over here, the clamps turn. It's amazing. But these guys are stuck on this gale. All right, but to the next clip. This is a couple new possessions in my hoard. Okay. The gentleman I bought this motor off, what a real nice guy. Name was Kevin. He gave me the history on the motors. They were in his dad's barn for years, and his dad passed away recently. I believe he was 93 years old. And so he found these in the barn when I guess they were cleaning out his house. But that's how he came across them. But he thinks the last time they were ran was probably, at least with the gale, in the 1970s. So you're talking over 50 years. And now I have them. So I just wanted to add that onto the clip. I want to thank you, Kevin. And when I get the gale running, you could even have it back. Okay, just if you want it back. I kind of mentioned that to him before I left when I picked him up. If he wanted it back, you know, memory of his dad, but he wasn't really sure at that time. So we'll see what happens when I get this thing running and cleaned up, and maybe I'll just give it back to him and take it from there. So here I'm going to start cleaning this cover because I can't stand looking at it. And I'm going to carefully scrape away this, I don't know, I think they call it lichen or lichen. I'm not really sure what it is. If anybody out there knows what this stuff's called, I see it on the trees all the time. Mold, I don't know. I'm going to start scraping that off, and I'll show you once I get it all clean. It's that dirt thing, you know. Dirt makes things look so much worse than they really are. Yuck. What a mess. So here, after about half-hour cleaning, she's a clean machine. So soap and water. You could actually still read the, after I took all the mold off, you could actually see the gale and barely see the 15 still here. So that's pretty good. What a difference. Now I can go ahead and, first thing I'm going to do is pull the flywheel, polish the points. That's my rule. Clean the points, check for spark, hook up fuel, try to start it. Doesn't start, or it doesn't stay running, whatever it does, the carburetor. Once that's squared away, number 3, you want to make sure the water pump's pumping. Very simple, 1, 2, 3 basic steps. Okay, to the next clip. The heck? So here I picked this gear case out of my parts. It's got a huge chunk missing out of the cavitation plate, unfortunately. But I bought these last year. I haven't used them yet. 1/8 aluminum stick weld. So here I got the patch all prepped. What I did basically is fit the piece really nice. Left it a little bit big on the larger on the outer radius to match the outer curvature of the cavitation plate. And I also took a small little square file that I use, and I put every half inch or a quarter of inch, not every half inch, but every quarter of an inch, I put a little V-groove just to help the JB Weld grip a little better. And I ground back on both sides, the top and the bottom, about a quarter of an inch, the whole length of the joint, to just ensure a little better and stronger adhesion. It should be okay. When I get this all done, I'm getting ready now. I'm going to put the JB Weld on the top first to let it set overnight. I'm using the 24-hour stuff, the stronger stuff, and then I'll flip it upside down. The bottom is just like the top, and I'll put the JB Weld on that. And I also have a piece of nylon between this aluminum plate to keep everything flush while this sets. And that's pretty much it. I've done this before in different areas, and it's worked out pretty well. And unfortunately, it's on the forward section here of the cavitation plate, but I don't think this motor is going to hit anything. And if it does, it's not a big deal. It'll break off. If it's going to break, it's going to break. That's the way I look at it. But I'm going to test it. Really, I'm going to hit it with a hammer and a mallet and see how strong it really is. And maybe I'll even share that with you guys. But this is the prep on the plate up to this point. I use a combination of different right angle motors, and I also use this adapter here, this 1-inch roll, to get in to some of the radiuses, because the overhang here from the water pump assembly and the casting gets in the way with some of your air tools. I also use my trusty little Harbor Freight bower sander, which is my friend. I think this was like $30. I tell you, I used the heck out of it. It hasn't blown up yet, so it's a couple years now. So it's already lasted its lifetime in my eyes. But I just figured I'll show you what I've done up to this point, and then I'll show you after I get the first coat of JB Weld on there. Well, here I have the JB Weld on the top surface laid out. I'm going to keep it overnight. The particular patch that I used was thicker than the cavitation plate itself, probably by about 25 thousandths. But the way I have it set up with the snap clamps, the metal plate, and the nylon to keep it from sticking, the bottom will be flush and with the V-groove, and the top I'm going to have to sand down to match the cavitation plate. And, aluminum sand's pretty easy, so it's not a problem. But it should work out pretty well. I'm looking forward to it. And it should be pretty strong with the little grooves I put in there with the file and the setup. So I'm really happy. Well, to the next clip. Well, here I got the cavitation plate all sanded and primed. I went back a few times, did a little touch-up here and there. Next time I do this, I'm going to use the same thickness material. Using thicker material on the repair made it much more difficult. But all in all, I'm happy the way it came out. Once I paint it, you'll never know it was there. And being that it's more or less skims through the water instead of like a trim tab, a lot of pressure on it, I'm pretty happy that and feel pretty good about it not breaking off, unless it took a direct hit or something. But once I did the initial JB Weld fill, I went back probably 2 or 3 times, and then I trimmed the outer edge to match, and I actually blocked it with this little mini block I use with 120, and then I primed it like 2 or 3 times, and so much for this repair. So next thing what I'm going to do is bring the whole gear case down to bare metal. By the way, the water pump, the impeller, the plate was like brand new. And I've had this in my junk pile for years, so I'm going to try it, see what happens. In fact, where did I put it? Amazing. The condition of the water pump when I took it apart. I even got one of the 3 screws out without even using heat. The other 2, I had to use heat. But I got them both out without breaking. And the impeller, I don't know what rubber they use. I think it's butyl. I'm not sure. But, I mean, look how pliable that is. No separation from the hub and nothing. So I am going to use this impeller because there's no wear on it at all, except memory from being in there for so many years. But the right thing is to put a new impeller in, and I recommend a OEM impeller. Don't use any of the imported impellers, just my opinion. Okay, so that was another good find.